What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode. Hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and share the video. Hit the join button and become a member. Why? Well, members get exclusive content. Hit the bell icon on my channel so that you'll receive a notification every time that I drop a video, and you can go and check the video out. Well, before we get into it, let me just say that I'm not glorifying these stories. Really, the shit is abhorrent when you really think about it and dissect the gang culture and the stupidity of it all. And so I bring you these stories to bring you history, to bring you a bit of knowledge so that you'll be knowledgeable about what transpired in the Los Angeles County Jail, at least in those days that I'm speaking of, and on these prison yards, and in these prison yards, and how they work and why they work this way, and how the gang culture works and why it works the way that it does, primarily behind the walls. But it's not to glorify this because, again, us beating on one another, injuring one another, it's really asinine, and it just weakens us. And we need to do better and come together. It's really just a form of self-hatred, because when we love one another, then we won't perform and behave, comport ourselves in that manner when we love one another. That's it. It's like you pass by a brother on the street and he has to mean mug you. You know, why can't you smile? You smile at a woman, you smile at a white broad. Why can't you smile at your brother and say, "What's up, bro? How you doing, man?" Why can't you greet your brother? Why we got to be so tough and tedious and laborious and strong towards one another? Because we're not caring about each other enough. And once that changes and we begin to care about each other and greet each other properly, then we will obtain our freedom. That's the bottom line. Let's get into it. This transpired in the Los Angeles County Jail between the Hoovers and the Gangstas. Now, I don't want to keep bringing stories where it seems like the Hoovers are always on top or come out on top. But the truth is, I can't recall many situations where the Hoovers have been the victims. Just outright victims. Good luck trying to extract one of those type of stories out of me. You'll be waiting. Now, the Gangstas and the Hoovers, of course, naturally, are oftentimes allies. We've been cool with one another for decades, but there have been times, like there have been with other groups, where they have been our allies and we fall out and get into it with one another. That lasts even on the street, that lasts 4, 5, 6 months, what have you, and then we're back cool again. And that's sort of the case with the Gangstas. It's been a hot and cold relationship, especially the last couple of decades or the last decade or so. But, those are the homies, man. We always good with them. But now and then, even brothers, as I said before, have spats and get into it. Such was the situation here in the Los Angeles County Jail, where Baby Ant, I believe was his name, was Marcelli. He was from Gangsta. We were all young. He was a young dude. This was in 1999 as well, or maybe 98. And I forget what his charges were, but he was in there fighting like some robberies or perhaps an attempted unaliving. But he did not have a hot one. A hot one is, of course, an unaliving. He didn't have one of those, but he was fighting a lot of time. And he ended up getting 80-something years. But he was cool, and we used to converse in his cell. He was in there putting in a little bit of work. Dark-skinned dude, a mini afro, had a little size on him. A strong dude. And I liked him as a cellie. And he was starting to stress about the time that he was facing, the cases that he was facing. But he was hanging in there, like most of us were doing, and all of us have to find a way to do. One day, he goes to court when his case is concluding, it's coming to his closure. He's already been found guilty. And I can't recall if he received his time on this particular date, again, 80-something years, or if he was about to receive his time in the next court date or whatever, but he had already been found guilty. So he was in the court tanks fuming. He was extremely upset one day coming from court, whatever transpired inside of the courtroom. He comes back to the cell at the court and just stops right there at the bars and tells me, hey, bro, hand me my stuff, give me my stuff. I'm like, what stuff? You're like, all my property, I'm finna move. I said, you moving? Where you moving to? He said, I'm going over there. He was going to the other side of the module in the cell with one of his homies. I knew this homeboy that he was talking about, but I never knew that he was planning on moving over there. This was just sudden and unexpected because he had just came back from court, like I said, and just said, man, just give me my stuff. I'm finna move over there, bro. Appreciate everything you did for me, etc. I'm like, all right, bet. So I'm handing him his property through the bars. And I ain't knowing what's going on. I'm like, all right. But it's like that in Los Angeles County Jail. You can just tell the police, man, move me on, trying to move over there with the homie, and they'll move you. So the next day, we sitting in a holding area where you go. It's like a mini day room where you go to as you're waiting to go out for medical, or you're coming in from medical or court. They put you in there until you go back to your cell. So I'm sitting in there, and one of the homies come in from wherever he's coming from, and he like, bro, you heard what happened yesterday with your cellie? I said, no. I said, who you talking about? He said, dude from Gangstas. I said, no, he ain't my cellie no more. I told him what happened, that he just came in and just suddenly moved last night. He said, oh yeah, well I can tell you why that happened, because there in the court tanks, he crashed one of the young homies. The young homie that he crashed was very young and very slight, bro, very small. I said, well, what happened? Why did he do this? He said, well, I guess he was upset about having been found guilty, and he was just looking to take it out on somebody. So he asked the homie why the homie kept looking at him. He knew where the homie was from. He knew he was from Hoover. And see, they supposed to be our homies, supposed to be our allies. Here it is, you sitting in the cell with them, lacing them up with everything, messing with him. This is supposed to be your boy, your mans in them, and look what he do. As soon as you turn your back, you go to the court tanks and do this to one of the young homies. He said it was dudes from neighborhood in there. How come he didn't attack one of them if he's so pissed off? Why you decide to attack one of the homies? Because you think we just gonna let that shit go. That's why, bro. He said that Aunt told the young homie, man, why you keep looking at me? The homie said, man, I ain't looking at you. And then Aunt just jumped up and rushed him. After the homie just said, man, I ain't looking at you. Fuck you talking about? He jumped up and rushed him and hurt him pretty bad. Put him on the ground and was hitting him still while he was on the ground. The homie had done nothing. He wasn't even looking at him, according to everyone in the court tanks. He had done nothing. He was just sitting there minding his own business. He came from court. He's not happy either. We all have our own problems. We're all fighting cases. We're all fighting time. No one wants to be going through this shit. But if you did the crime, we in there, we got to man up and deal with what we have to deal with. But you taking out your personal problems and your personal troubles in this courtroom, thrusting them onto a young, unsuspecting, undeserving homie is unacceptable. So I understood then why he decided to move all of a sudden. He didn't even come back in the cell with me. And I found that suspicious, but he was a strong, solid dude, so I didn't think too much of it. But I was wondering that night, what the hell was that about? And the very next morning is when I found out. So the young homie that's telling me this, he like, yeah, man, so what's up, bro? He telling me, so what's up? What we gonna do? You know what I'm saying? Because, whatever you say, you already know that's what the homie's gonna go with. What's up, bro? I said, man, it's on. It's on, bro. I'm not even finna go talk to this dude about what he did. Ain't nothing to talk about, bro. Let's get him and get all the rest up. We finna go up. That's what we gonna do. It's on site. Let the rest of the homies know. You're like, all right, bet. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. And it just so happens, I swear, as we're sitting there talking, it's a dude in there that had just walked in. He's catching a piece of the conversation. Light-skinned or light brown skinned dude, skinny dude with braids. Come to find out he's from HOA Gangs because he looking at us, then he turning his head a little bit. as the homie's explaining what happened there in the courtroom with his homeboy. I don't know who this dude is that just walked in here. The homie doesn't either, but now we're suspicious thinking. So I hit him up. Now remember, I'm young. I'm talking 20-something years ago, man. I'm still in my 20s. And yes, indeed, I am active. So I hit him up. Bro, where you from? See you over here looking all in our conversation. You one of them boys, huh? I said, where you from, man? He said, I'm from Gangstas. But he was trying to say, but before he can get it all out, yes, indeed, I rushed him. I took flight and dropped him. It's already, I just said it's on. It's on with these dudes right now, period. And yes, indeed, the homie came over there and rushed them with me. I didn't need his help, but we're just declaring war. We don't want them to think that this is a head-up squabble, a head-up fade by someone who's personally upset. No, we're all upset, and it's about to go up. And the next day or so, we had a meeting. We congregated a bit in the day room, the homies and I. And the decision was made rather quickly that we're just going to attack these dudes. It's not over just because we attacked this dude right here in the holding tank where we are held up at. It's not over. No, it's on. So everyone agreed, yes, let's do it. We're not going to use any weapons. These are the homies. But this dude was wrong. And they all, by now, know what's going on. They didn't call win. They know what they homeboy done did. They know that I rushed their homeboy right there in a holding tank. Everything is happening quickly. It is what it is. It's on now. So we said we're going to take our weapons, but we're not going to use them. These are the homies. We're going to take them for self-preservation. We're going to take them just in case one of them gets a bright idea to use a weapon upon one of us. We're going to return fire quickly. So let's always be prepared. But do not, the call was, use a weapon upon one of them. The call was, these are the homies. But the call was, what they did, what he did was wrong. And we must not accept that, and we must respond, and we're going to, rather quickly. I responded the next damn day. And a couple of days later, we ran inside their cells. It was a couple of them had 2 people in the cell, and the little tier that they was on. And it was about 10 of us. And we walked down there and told the police, hit these dudes' cell. And we ran up in there and we squabbled them down, but nobody used the weapon. And no, we didn't lose. And that's just what happened, bro. But that's because this dude got out of line and attacked the homie for no reason in court because he was upset about what was transpiring with his situation. I understand. Oftentimes I was upset leaving that damn courtroom, but I did not take that out upon anyone else, period. And when he did, and rushed a young homie, basically put him in the hospital. He crashed him. He fucked him up. I think like broke his jaw. He crashed and he was way bigger than him. And the homie again didn't see this coming. And he dogged him out, but when he had him on the ground, he continued to pummel upon him. To the point the homie basically was like, man, goddamn, asking for mercy. People in the court tanks was like, man, God, that's enough. This is what everybody's saying. They basically had to stop the dude like, man, that's enough. This your homie. This how you doing him? He didn't even do nothing. So yeah, we were upset. I was, and the homies were as well. There were higher ranking individuals than myself there. It wasn't just my call. I was just making sure that we pressed the line. I was often voicing my opinion in these sort of situations and believing that if you go on the offensive, we have a better chance of being victorious, period. And then after that, I wasn't sure if we should go up again because I didn't trust that it may be over. I'm always hesitant, always reluctant, always mindful of the fact that I don't want to be a victim. I don't want to be sitting here on the defensive or defenseless when someone chooses to attack me. I just believe in my soul that my chances are better if I attack your ass first. That's for everyone in the audience. Going to offensive if and when necessary. Not promote violence. I don't believe in violence. I don't like violence. But if you are in danger or someone you care about, you must go on the offensive. Don't be on the defensive. Gives you a better chance at coming out on top. That's it. That's what happened there. Shout out to the H-Ray Gangstas, the homies. I'm sure some of them recall this incident. Yes, indeed, we had to go up. And it's nothing personal. But you attack one of us, that's what we're going to do. We're going to respond. And yeah, I'll bring you some stories where we wasn't always on top, of course. We're so hated, of course. But as far as us just being outright victims, you're going to have to find those stories in a movie. In real life, it wasn't happening behind those walls. I'm also going to bring you other content. I'm just getting these stories out of my system. I know I said that I was going to bring other content, and I am, but you guys are going to have to support it. And it's coming, you're going to have to support the other content. I know y'all are used to these stories. I only have so many, but I still have quite a few, though. I haven't even really got to scratch the surface, but I'm going to go elsewhere eventually. Hang in there with me. Stay free, people!